After the Under-18 National Carnival, I had a meeting with the Bulldogs, which was then Peter Road, who was the coach, came over to Adelaide, and they basically said they were going to pick me at number 1.
Well, the day before, I got a phone call from Richmond, and they said that they were going to take me at number 1. I was pretty nervous that night. I, very excited, obviously. I called good mate Jared Roughead, and we thought he was going to go at number 4, so we were planning how we'd probably live together.
I think Channel 10 rang me before the draft and wanted to have an interview with me, and I was in the middle of a barbecue having a few beers with, in the middle of a roundabout, yeah, with all my mates. So I got the Channel 10 guy to come to the roundabout and put my beer down and had an interview with him in the middle of the roundabout. So, silly boy back then.
I thought I was going to North Melbourne because I thought it was whoever showed the most interest. I didn't really understand the system, and I remember being at home on the farm and I had my best mate call me and say that you're off to Hawthorn. I said, well, there's no way I'll be going to Hawthorn. That was the lead up, and even at the time I thought it'd be someone would bring me up later and say no, it was a mistake, he came to the Kangaroos.
I think he's got good physical attributes, and I've watched him play a few times, and I believe that he suits our policy. I'm not saying he is the best player in Australia.
Wouldn't say I'm a real city boy, probably still a country bumpkin, but it'd be great to go down and play with a club like Hawthorn.
I came over to Melbourne with my family. I think I stayed in a hotel the night before with Andrew Walker, who got picked up number 2, so we spent a little bit of time together the night before the draft just talking about what we thought might happen, the other guys who were going to get drafted. So I went to the draft on the day and had a ridiculous hairstyle. I think my hair was out here somewhere, and I had necklaces and bracelets on. Looking like a bit of an idiot now I look back on it, but apparently that was in back then.
Selection 1, Western Bulldogs.
Number 100830, Adam Cooney, West Adelaide.
We were all sitting across the front row, and as my name got called out, I remember looking across and shaking Dad's hand. He gets a bit emotional, the big fella, when something like that happens to his kids. But yeah, it was nice. I gave Mum a hug, and had my brother and sister there as well, and obviously all my mates along beside me. So it was pretty cool.
Back in those days, there was a list of 50, so you were expected to do your apprenticeship. And in some ways there was no expectation for me to walk straight in and play, whereas I feel for the Delivios and the Cooneys, there's an expectation that they play straight away.
I think in my first year I just struggled with everything, being away from home and being not fit enough, adapting to AFL lifestyle, and all those things are hard when you're an 18-year-old kid coming into the game and being away from family and friends for so long at a time.
I didn't really feel a lot of pressure to perform. Under Terry Wallace at the time, he made me feel just another, part of the team, another team member, and I suppose that he just set me parameters of what I need to do to make sure I keep getting a game, and I had a goal of trying to play every game. I didn't want to rest. I wanted to get as much experience as I could.
My first pre-season when I came over, we had a training camp. Basically, my first week I was there, and coming home from that, the next couple of weeks of training, I was ringing Dad, telling him that I wanted to come home, and he was just saying to me, basically, stick it out till Christmas, see how you go, and if you're still not enjoying it, we'll come home.
I was having a shot for goals playing the seconds, and I remember one of the guys saying, as I had a shot for goal, he said, here comes $1 million kick from the $1 Million Man. And it was probably about then that I started to realise that I was probably going to cop a little bit of stick.
Alex McDonald and Paul Dewar. McDonald, brilliant mark!
Back in those days, there was very little press, so the build-up wasn't as big. There might have been a small amount of press in and around football circles, but to the wider community, it was a complete shock to everyone.
I don't want to blame Juddy, but because he was so good when he was so young, he sort of put a lot of pressure on everyone else coming through, and everyone expected every player to come through and just dominate from the word go. I mean, that's probably a bit unfair on Juddy because he's a star, but he's made it pretty tough for everyone else.
I suppose the club members and club supporters, I think, will stick with that pressure, that external pressure that you feel from them. Obviously, you're a #1 draft pick, and other players, if they become better players than you that were picked later in the draft, you see people firing up about how they're not as good as the other player. So I suppose that could probably get you down.
Whether it's right or wrong, it's a list, and typically society works on prioritising and ranking. So, and we try and rank everything, and then we benchmark against that. So if that player's number one, the expectation is that he'll be better than everyone else straight away.
You can go in there expecting to get an armchair ride and it won't work for you. You end up being disliked, but do everything the right way, you know, work hard, and that's pretty much all you can do, I suppose, to get the ball rolling.
Being number one pick is all about, I guess, making a commitment to your career. It's not a light switch. The switch is on 24/7, 365 days a year, and you got to live it. I didn't really understand in '88 that it was a career. For me, it was doing something I loved.